you lose your ears for your own music. When you're so close to something, you kind of need to take a break, because I just get too heady about it and things like that. But it's never anything permanent. It's very much an intended break.
The Forgotten Osbourne speaks out. Amy breaks 20 years silence in a powerful new documentary. After decades in the shadow, OZZY and Sharon, eldest daughter, opens up about pain, privacy, and finding peace in her own terms.
I'm Amy Osbourne, and I'm the oldest of the children.
Were you ever embarrassed by your family?
Of course. I mean, do I like that my father publicly announces that he still has a drinking problem? No. Do I like that my brother and sister talk about drinking and smoking weed? No.
I wasn't running from my family. I was running towards myself. For most of 2000s, the Osbourne name was synonymous with chows, curse words, and cable TV gold. MTV, the Osbournes, was a cultural earthquake, catapulting rock legend Ozzy Osbourne, his firebrand Sharon, and their kids Kelly and Jack into an unfiltered fame few families had ever known.
Of you and Mum ever having sex, even make me, makes me sick.
It was immaculate conception.
But one family member was conspicuously absent from the madness. Amy Osbourne, Ozzy's eldest daughter, now 42. Amy is finally telling her story in a raw, emotional new documentary that peels back the layers of her decision to step away from the spotlight and the toll that choice took on her life and her relationship. It wasn't about rejecting my family, she says. Seated calmly in a sun-drenched studio, her voice steady but pained. It was about protecting myself. I was 18, and I had already seen what fame had done to the people I loved. I knew what cameras would do to us. When the Osbournes premiered in 2002, Amy had already made the difficult decision to move out the family's Beverly Hills mansion. Just as MTV crews were moving in, I was terrified that if I stayed, I'd lose who I was completely. She reveals, that show was just reality, TV. It was a circus, and I didn't want to be the next act.
I'm sick of it! I want a fucking break! You haven't been there for all of it, Mum!
Critics at the time wondered if Amy was simply the serious sibling, the one who didn't want to play along. But as she explained in films, the stakes were much higher. There was addiction, mental health struggles, tension that the cameras couldn't even capture. I saw my family unravel in private long before the world did.
How did it get?
Oh, I mean, how bad? Bad. I was arrested for attempted murder of Sharon. I had no idea. I didn't know what they were talking about.
Can we just stop there? Attempt.
Fame is loud. Healing is silent. Kelly launched a music career, and Jack became a producer and a reality star in his own right. Amy charted a quieter course. She studied art and philosophy, released haunting alt-rock music under the name Era.
Dark Prince, just a scam artist.
And lived largely off the grid, refusing interviews and retreating the whirlwind her family had embraced. People would recognize my last name and say, "Wait, are you the Osbourne?" Amy smiled faintly, and I'd say, "Yes, but I'm also just Amy." And I think I spent years trying to figure out what that even meant. In the documentary, we see a rare child footage, Amy playing a piano in the background while Jack and Kelly perform the home videos. Sharon tearfully admits she struggled with Amy's decision to walk away. "It broke my heart, but I knew I had to let her go," Sharon says. "She wasn't being difficult, she was just brave in her way. I didn't understand it yet." Rebuilding the bond off camera. The documentary doesn't shy away from the pain. Amy speaks openly about the estrangement, the isolation of living half-invisible life, and the year it took to rebuild trust with her family.
We're not close at all. Like we don't have a great relationship. She'll be the first to tell you that, so it's no secret. So I've never asked her outright, like, do you regret it?
We were never not a family, she clarifies. We just didn't know how to be one outside the spotlight. In a recent years, she'd grown closer to her siblings, especially Kelly. She appeared in the film and calls Amy the strongest woman I've ever known. She didn't need the world to validate her, Kelly says. She just needed peace. Why now? So why speak up now after decades of silence? Because silence eventually becomes its own kind of cage, Amy says, and because maybe someone else out there needs to know it's okay to walk your own path, even when the whole world is walking another. The documentary titled Quiet Osbourne, Amy's Story, is already generating award straight. After praise, it's condor. It's cinematic, intimacy, and its unflinching look at the cost of fame and the courage it takes to step away from it. I found my voice, and it wasn't yelling. At 42, Amy Osbourne's not chasing the fame she once avoided. She's realizing new music's continuing. Her advocacy for mental health and creative independence, and for the first time allowing the world to truly see her. I'm not the quiet Osbourne anymore, she said with a laugh. I'm just Amy, and I'm finally ready to be heard.